Anansi and the Keeper of Stories. A long, long time ago, in a world full of talking animals, wise old trees, and rivers that sang, there was a clever little spider named Anansi. Anansi was small, but oh, was he smart. He could think faster than a monkey and plan better than the biggest lion. But even though Anansi was so clever, there was something that made him sad. Why don't I have any stories? He wondered one day as he sat in his web. You see, back then there were no stories in the world. All the stories belonged to Nyame, the great sky god. Nyame kept the stories high up in the sky, locked in a golden box. No one could reach them, and no one could tell tales to make the world happy. One day, Anansi decided to change that. I will go to Nyame and ask for his stories, he said boldly. Anansi spun a strong shimmering web and climbed up into the sky to find Nyame. When he arrived, he saw Nyame sitting on his shining throne with clouds swirling all around. Oh, great Nyame, said Anansi with a bow. May I have your box of stories to share with the world? Nyame laughed so loudly that the clouds shook. Ha ha ha, you little spider, want my precious stories? If you can complete 3 impossible tasks, I will give them to you, but I warn you, no one has ever done it. Anansi didn't give up. Tell me the tasks and I'll do them, he said with a twinkle in his eye. Nyame shook his head. Very well. First, bring me Moboro, the hornet who stings. Second, bring me Onini, the giant snake who is as long as a river. Third, bring me Osebo, the leopard with sharp teeth and claws. The tasks were tricky, but Anansi only smiled. I accept your challenge, Nyame, he said, and off he went. Task 1, the hornets. Anansi found the hornet's nest buzzing angrily in a tree. He thought, and then had an idea. He filled a gourd with water and sprinkled some on the nest. Oh no, he cried to the hornets. The rain is coming. Fly into this gourd to stay dry. The hornets buzzed around, confused, but they trusted Anansi and flew inside the gourd. Quickly, Anansi plugged the opening with a leaf and carried the hornets to Nyame. That's 1 task done, said Anansi proudly. Task 2, the snake. Next, Anansi went to find Onini the snake. Onini was long and shiny, and he hissed as he slithered through the grass. You are not as long as the stick I brought, said Anansi. Of course I am, hissed Onini. Prove it, Anansi said. So Onini stretched out along the stick, and while he was busy proving how long he was, Anansi spun a web around him. Onini wiggled and hissed, but he was stuck. Anansi carried him to Nyame. 2 tasks done, said Anansi. Task 3, the leopard. The last task was the hardest of all. Anansi had to catch Osebo the leopard, who was big, strong, and fast. Anansi dug a deep hole in the ground and covered it with leaves. Then he called out, Help! Help! Leopard! There's a trap over here. Osebo came running, but wham! He fell right into the hole. Anansi quickly spun a web around the leopard, tying him up. Osebo growled and snarled, but Anansi was too clever. Anansi carried him to Nyame. 3 tasks done, he said, out of breath but smiling. Nyame looked down at Anansi in surprise. You are the first to complete all my tasks, he said. You have proven you are clever and brave, little spider. I will give you my stories. Nyame opened the golden box, and the stories flew out like shining fireflies. They danced around Anansi and floated down to the world below, From that day on, stories spread everywhere. The animals told stories, the trees whispered stories, the rivers sang stories, and all of them were thanks to Anansi, the clever little spider. And that's why, even today, when people tell tales, they call them Anansi stories.